Well, what a wonderful place to make a presentation. It's a delight to be here. First of all, can I just say, trustees, I believe there's some former trustees here as well, chair and musical director, and I'm sure there's the other two are here somewhere as well. Every day, millions of people across the UK are making a difference by volunteering, and each year, outstanding examples of this work are celebrated through the King's Award for Voluntary Service. They were created in 2002 to celebrate the late Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee and were previously known as the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. It's been a shining light on the fantastic work of voluntary groups ever since, and the King was simply delighted to continue with this recognition, it becoming the King's Award for Voluntary Service. It's equivalent to an MBE. It's the highest distinction given to local voluntary groups in the UK, and it's awarded for life. It's awarded to groups that are truly outstanding and make an important, positive difference to their community through activities that are not generally covered by other organisations, to groups where volunteers and not paid staff are in the driving seat. And of course, I think as you all know, by this group, to groups that have the highest standards in everything they do. In the room we have the 40 volunteers who pull this all together, 40 plus probably. You are extraordinary as volunteers. You give your time, your skills, experience day in and day out. Their energy and compassion transforms lives and so ably strengthens our neighbourhoods and communities. Volunteer groups vitally create pathways for people to help their communities. You help to break down barriers to opportunity, help to develop new skills, and form communities yourselves where people can thrive and find support and friendship. Whether creating opportunities for young people to thrive, helping people who are struggling with their health and well-being, preserving our environment, our heritage, simply being there for those who need it most, or indeed all of those things and much more, which I believe is more or less the case today, you embody the very best of society. The Macclesfield Youth Brass Band is a long-established and much-valued part of the town's musical heritage, with a history rooted in the region's rich brass band tradition. Founded to give young people the opportunity to learn, perform, and grow through music, the band has supported generations of players as they take their steps into ensemble music making. Through inspiring leadership, the band instills teamwork, confidence, and a lifelong love of music. It continues to represent the great town of Macclesfield with enthusiasm and professionalism, whilst providing a supportive environment in which young musicians can truly survive and flourish. In addition to competitive results, I do know that the band has received many, many awards and special awards, such as Outstanding Contribution to the Community at the National Youth Brass Band Championships, reflecting both its musical excellence, but perhaps most importantly, its social impact. To every volunteer being recognised in the room today through this King's Award for Voluntary Service, involved in the amazing Macclesfield Youth Brass Band, they're all here today, and I think see the other bands there. Thank you, most sincerely, for your contribution. My warmest congratulations. Sorry to take up the music time, but I will now ask Lynn Pegler, who was one of the assessors who actually made this possible by digging deep and making sure she really understood, along with Andy, our other assessor, really understood this organisation, to read the citation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Lieutenant, and I want to say how fabulous it is for Andy and I to be back with you. We thoroughly enjoyed the Christmas concert, didn't we, Andy? Your music making is amazing, so it's a huge honour to come and read the citation for your King's Award for Voluntary Service. Macclesfield Youth Brass Band hits the high notes, delivering impressive standards of music making, regularly being placed as one of the very best youth brass groups in the country, but also an exceptional volunteer organisation. For the past 2 decades, it has provided access to free brass and percussion instrument loans, music tuition and weekly band training for hundreds of children and young people aged 7 to 19 years. Around 120 children rehearse each week across 3 levels of brass bands, with the top youth band playing in local concerts and national competitions, as well as taking part in biennial foreign concert tours. It boosts the confidence of the young people, their self-confidence, social awareness, friendship networks, emotional resilience, and crucially, encouraging them to become positive contributors to their community. Every year, several players win places at prestigious music conservatoires to pursue their instrument studies at degree level. While it is consistently recognised as one of the top youth brass bands in the country, and in 2023 won 3rd prize in the National Youth Brass Band Championships, what sets the band apart is not just musical excellence, but its inclusive ethos, its innovative practices, and its meaningful community outreach. Monthly subs have been kept at £5 since 2005, haven't they? And no child who wants to join is ever turned away. The group has taken part in medical trials to try and increase understanding of asthma, and often provides extra one-to-one tuition for those needing additional help. And for those with dyslexia or other learning challenges, testimonials show that it's been nothing less than a lifeline, a haven of support. Macclesfield Youth Brass Band is run by a group of approximately 40 enthusiastic and committed parents, musicians and supporters, with a hard-working and dedicated committee of trustees. And I guess many of you are here tonight, and all volunteers. It's received several awards, including a local civic award. Many of the older teenage band members also help out with training, fostering great community spirit and a commitment to helping others, which remains with them as they transition into adulthood. And of course, beneficiaries include not only the young musicians themselves, their tutors and mentors, but also the thousands of people who have enjoyed listening to your music over the years. The caring, kind, good-humoured sense of community is palpable to any visitor. The strong sense of pride at being part of this successful organisation is clear to all. Importantly, the organisation is helping to keep the brass band tradition alive, delivering an excellent quality of music, but simultaneously valuing and supporting our young people to be the very best that they can be. Macclesfield Youth Brass Band is far more than just a talented youth ensemble. It is a vibrant, long-standing community institution with a deep and sustained positive impact on young people and the wider community in Cheshire, and is entirely volunteer-led. Congratulations.
I always find it really, really uncomfortable when we find ourselves describing to you the work that you know and deliver so well. And everyone in this room will know this band so well. But it is part of the formal presentation, and I do hope you can enjoy others, especially when it's on behalf of His Majesty the King, acknowledging and thanking you for your incredible much valued contribution to our communities. And it is for this outstanding contribution that His Majesty has conferred a King's Award for voluntary service upon Macclesfield Youth Brass Band. If you bear with me just a few more minutes, I think it would be really, really enjoyable to hear the actual words of the certificate signed by King Charles III. And I'll now ask Andy if you'd just read that for us.
Thank you, Lord Lieutenant. It's a pleasure to be back here again. There's something very special about this group. I described it as stardust that seems to be sprinkled around here. And that's been recognised by His Majesty the King. This is the award certificate signed by the King himself, Charles R. Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom, of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and our other realms and territories King, Defender of the Faith, to Macclesfield Youth Brass Band, enriching young lives through music tuition, friendships, and inspiring performance opportunities. Greeting. We, being cognizant of the said group's outstanding voluntary work in the community and being desirous of showing our royal favour, do hereby confer upon it the King's Award for Voluntary Service, the voluntary service by groups in the community 2025. For such period as the group continues to provide its current service, and do hereby give permission for the authorised emblem of the said award to be displayed on the group's letterhead and other public material, given at our Court of St James under the Royal Sign Manual this 14th day of November 2025 in the 3rd year of our reign. Congratulations.
It now leaves me to actually present the award on behalf of His Majesty the King, who considers that through your determination, pride, and good service, and sheer hard work, that you are richly deserving without ever seeking reward financially. A good point to thank all the supporters, the donors, everyone in this room, our much, much appreciated sponsors and patrons of this wonderful organisation. So Louise, if I could ask you to join me. It gives me great pleasure, on behalf of His Majesty the King, to award you with the King's Award for Voluntary Service. It's the volunteers. This is actually signed by Charles.
Wow. I must admit I'm quite overwhelmed by the kind words and the descriptions there of the work of our volunteers, and to be recognised in this way is absolutely wonderful. I'm almost shaking, which is why I've given them that glass award back. I would not like to drop it, but thank you. So I'd just like to say a few words. Firstly, I'd like to thank our guests for coming here tonight and for making this such a memorable and special occasion. We are all delighted to receive this prestigious award. And myself and Tim, where's Tim at the back there? I think we're possibly the longest standing volunteers here, but myself and Tim are greatly looking forward to representing the band at Buckingham Palace garden party on Tuesday, although Tim's still not decided whether he's wearing a fascinator or a hat. Of course, we'll be representing many people who have willingly supported this organisation over the past 20 years. I'm thrilled that we have in the audience Liz Hudson, a founder of the band, and also many of our past trustees who I hope are taking pride in the very significant part that they all played along the way, and they're all sat there up on the balcony. So well done, thank you. here at the band, each volunteer brings their own skills and personality to MYBB, and together, through their commitment and support of each other, things get done. Here at band, we have an important opportunity. Today, socialising is increasingly online, and role models are found on TikTok. They call themselves influencers. In contrast, our volunteers spend time with young people. They encourage them to reach their potential, to appreciate music and performance, foster lifelong friendships, make memories and shape futures. Now that's what I think is a real influencer, and that's what an influencer looks like. So well done, Team MYBB, and thank you very much.